Hi, I'm Don from the Online Jewelry Academy. This is my first video. Normally, John R., our host, stands behind this podium and he shows you how to make some great jewelry pieces. But he just finished, left early, forgot to turn the lights out, and I thought, I'm going to come in and try to show you how to do some of the behind-the-scenes kind of things that we sometimes have to do here at the Online Jewelry Academy to be able to use this studio, which is a film studio, as a jewelry studio. Normally in a jewelry studio, everything is set up. There's lighting, there's torches, there's vent systems, it's ready to go. But when John comes here to film his videos, we have his film studio and we have to set certain things up, and we've had to come up with some solutions to some problems that we thought might help you because you're working out of your homes. And just as you want some equipment that you can kind of pack up and put away in a corner and then bring it out when you're doing your projects, that's what we have to do here. One of the important things is a vent system. This vent system is necessary because when you're using a torch and you're using various fluxes and metals, fumes can come off. And admittedly, they might only make you a little dizzy initially. But over the long haul, breathing a lot of that, well, you could possibly come down with a health condition as a result of those that would cause you to really suffer a long and painful death. So we don't want that to happen. So we came up with a very, very complicated and difficult solution to a very simple problem. Kind of like what you can see I did with the shaving problem. Actually, this is a very simple project to make. We used a dryer hose, which I was trying to economize. I went to a couple of laundromats. They really screw those things in too tight. You can't get them out. No reason to waste your time. One of those big box stores, the type, starts with an H, ends with a depot. That's where we had to buy 2 different types of dryer hose. We had to buy some connectors. We needed a fan. I happen to have already had one of these. And the last ingredient, if you want to call it an ingredient, was cardboard. Simple cardboard boxes. Now, personally, I don't want you to mention it to John. I told him I went to an expensive box store. They cost a fortune. Charged him a little extra for it, but in reality, I went to the back of the supermarket. They had a couple of extra old boxes. They weren't too dirty, didn't smell too bad. That's what we use here. So let me get it set up and I will show you how to make this project. Okay, I've set up the tools that we're going to use to make this project. They're tools that you have around any household. We're going to use a regular old pair of scissors. We're going to use a marker, utility knife, duct tape. We're going to need a measuring tape so that we can measure everything. And the items that we're actually going to be connecting to make the project, this is a vent hose. It's an aluminum semi-rigid vent hose used for dryers. This is another hose used for dryers. This is a flexible heat-resistant hose. We're going to connect those with a reducer so that it reduces from 4 inches to 3 inches. This collet is going to be used at the end to make it look more attractive. Here I have a great previously owned cardboard box. Another item that was previously owned, a mailing tube, a 20-inch piece of cardboard, and a 20-inch box fan. Let me clear these items off and I'll show you how to get this project going. I designed this project in a way so that I'll be able to put this off into a corner when we're all finished with it. And in order to do that, this tube was a problem. Because when I open this, it opens up like one of those little snakes in a can. It's all over the place. It's huge. And it doesn't really want to retract back. When you try to put it back together, it jumps out at you. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to be connecting this aluminum fitting to that, and I'm going to be connecting this to this reducer here. And this is all going to end up being able to be retracted into our mailing tube. Now, the first thing I need is to cut the mailing tube so it's the right size. And the way I need to determine the size is I need to put the reducer in front of the hose. I'm going to measure it from one side to the other. Since the tube won't be going all the way over the reducer, the extra length in our measurement will ensure the hose has a little extra room in the tube. 20 inches, that is our measurement. But as you can see, the tube I have is much longer than that. So I'm going to have to cut it down. Now, when you're cutting a tube, one of the best ways of doing it, of marking it, is to take your tape, note where your 20-inch mark is, and mark it. Then move down, mark it again. Then move down, and mark it again. You do that all the way until you've got marks all the way around the tube. And then you simply draw lines in between. Now you can take your jeweler's saw and you simply cut that tube down. Now, conveniently, I've already cut this tube. So it's ready to go. And this is the piece that's 20 inches. Now let me show you how I'm going to make the connection here. First thing I'm going to do is open my snake. And as I said, this thing is huge. This connection is very easy to make. You simply shove that in, and we take a piece of tape and we tape it on down. Now you want to push the tape down really hard because you don't want any air going through. Now we're going to take our tube. See how much fun this is? We're going to make sure that our lid is on the tube. This comes out, but we need that in for the moment. And we are just going to shove this tube, or this dryer hose, right into there. See how long this is? I could be an old man by the time I'm finished. And I might be an old man right now. Okay, now you can see that. We're going to shove that in all the way. It's kind of nice if you have a bench like we do here, so that we can push it all that way. And now we're going to grab a piece of tape. Conveniently, I cut tape before I started this project. And we're just going to wrap the tape right around there. Okay. Now, on this pipe, we're just going to pull it out a little bit. You may have to pull it out to stretch that out, because when it's all compressed, it's actually a little bit too small to fit over this. But when you pull it out, it gets large enough so that this can actually fit into place. Tape it up. And we have the beginnings of our vent system. Now all we have to do is pull this piece apart, and it's very large. We'll bend this bottom at a bit of a curve so that we can put this down on the floor. We'll pull this tube up further, and we'll bend this in an S curve like that. Or not an S curve, I guess, just at an angle. And again, one of the great things about this pipe being flexible, look at that. It sits there all on its own. This side is pretty ugly here, so we'll put that nice piece. It both balances and it looks great. Now, when you're soldering, make sure you don't torch this. This piece is not really a heat-resistant piece. It's just for decoration. You don't have to use it. If you accidentally hit it with the torch for a little too long, it might go up in smoke. So might you. So don't torch this piece. Now, to finish this project, we're going to use a piece of cardboard. This piece of cardboard was cut to exactly 20 inches so that it fits directly over the back of this fan. Now, when I do this, I'm going to be using a little box. I don't want that box to be right dead center in the middle of the fan because there's a motor there and it's not going to get the kind of suction that we want. I'm going to want this box slightly off to the side. So, the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to be needing to put some tape on the back of this when I'm finished. So I need to leave a little bit of space and I need to cut a hole in this piece of cardboard. So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to set the box down this way and I want to make marks all the way around. Note, I've left about a ½ inch on this side, about a ½ inch on that side. So I've got 4 marks. Now I'm going to turn the box upside down and I'm going to set the box, the corners, so that they're lined up with the marks. And now I'm just going to mark lines all around the box. Now I'm going to take a scrap piece of cardboard because when we cut, we don't want to cut into our bench. So it's better if we put a scrap piece of cardboard underneath and we are ready to cut this out. Very simple. You can use a utility knife. Don't forget to keep your fingers out of the way. Note also that part of the reason why we measured this project the way we measured this project was because the lines that I drew are going to be slightly larger than the box itself. And therefore, when I'm done with this, the box should fit nicely through these holes. And there we have it. The next step is to take my box and to slide my box right into the hole that I just cut. And as you can see, it fits very nicely. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to tape the 4 flaps. One of the great things about this project is that as you saw me just take apart all of the hoses and they flop all over the place, when you're all finished, that semi-rigid tubing, that can be pushed back into place, and of course the flexible tubing, that just needs to be shoved back into the tube. Now, to finish up today's project, we need to cut a hole in this box. The hole needs to be 3 inches so that it will fit the 3-inch dryer hose. The way to do this is to first take the dryer hose, kind of crunch it down so that you give yourself a nicer surface. It doesn't have to be in the center, it can be off to the side a little bit. Make a mark all the way around. Now, if I cut where I've marked this hole is going to be too large. I need to cut in about 1/4 of an inch in order to make this work. So, let me cut in about 1/4 of an inch. Now you want to do this slowly and carefully because it would be easy if this knife slips to cut yourself. So just be slow and patient. It's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be. Okay, I've finished cutting the hole. Now all I have to do is pop out that little piece, take my vent hose, shove that in there. Since I cut the hole a little bit smaller than the vent, it should hold in there by itself. Now I need to take this piece and my fan outside. Simply line the back of the cardboard up with the back of the fan, turn the fan on. The suction will actually hold this piece into place. We've left a larger area so that we create a greater vacuum in this area. It will create that vacuum all the way down, all the way to this side, and suck anything that you don't want outside. The one thing you have to remember is you have to leave a door or a window open so that you have fresh air coming in, because you're creating a vacuum in the entire room when you do this. Thank you for watching. Watch for our other products and videos online at the onlinejewelryacademy.com. Thanks.